Hi, all, and welcome to the CEAL 12 Days of Riftmas 1v1 lower bracket finals. We'll be having the official finals going on later tonight. I'm Baby. I'm joined by my co-caster today in Idacles, and we're
Hello,
looking
hello.
forward to a fun match.
Yeah, it should be a pretty hot start right out of the gate. The 1v1s are not known to go long. Already seeing bans out of the two folks. We'll get to those in a minute, but both fellows play highly volatile champions, so I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. It's super scrappy matches, probably what we're going to be looking at here, and we're just rolling right into the tournament draft here. We've had some verbal bans go down already. I believe I saw Annie, Diana, and Wukong banned from one side. I think we do have one issue, though. We're just trying to get it out of tournament draft as we work out this little bit of issue. But Idacles, you seem to know a little bit more about the players than me. Do you have any sort of info that you might want to pass along here?
Nothing overwhelming. I mean, we can get to that in the 3 minutes of the spectator delay for sure. We got to save a little material just so we don't have a windfall of silence there. But for the
Absolutely.
sake of sanity, I've played with both these players, and I do not expect a farm fest.
No, I'm not. That's good news for us. It should be exciting to see what sort of cool strategies these guys pull out. Right now, we are just trying to.
It's okay.
Yeah, right
Welcome to
now
my
we're
life.
just trying to fix the lobby format.
Let's see.
Should be really interesting to see how this plays out, though. Um, On the other side, we did see Akali Quinn and Lee Sin Band come out from Caged Reaper,
Mhm.
trying to pick off some of these really obnoxious to lane against champions, it looks like, and put their opponent in a less comfortable position.
Yeah. Expect let's see, Pantheon is a really strong pick out of Cage Reaper's pool. Karma is also known to bully a few folks. Jarvan is actually a dark horse in these 1v1s. Pretty high all-in potential. Oh, getting an invite. Let's see. As far as Cyanide's side of things, the Caliban is smart, 62% win rate over 26 played just in the preseason, doing really well, and Akali is in a fantastic spot. But that does leave Echo, Ari, and Zed open. So we'll see what comes Cage Reaper's way.
Yeah, and I can imagine Echo being really oppressive actually in
Mm-hmm.
this. He's got really good wave clear and push for an
Bingo.
assassin while still having the brawling pressure to be able to fight in these all-ins.
Wait,
All right,
we don't want Howling Abyss, do we? You can't back in Howling Abyss and buy.
I have no idea. The players say it's okay, right? All right,
So
so
we can see both, but they cannot see. So we do get Ari versus Pantheon. All right, it's a matchup.
looks like it. Yeah, so Ari into Pantheon. So this is the final matchup it looks like that we're going to get here. And as we're moving into our 3-minute spectator delay, I have some thoughts on this, but do you have anything you want to set up with here? Like, what do you think about this matchup?
It revolves around the charm, truly and wholly, because Ari likes people to run in a straight line at her, and Pantheon does nothing but run at you. So we'll see how posturing around minions in the melee versus ranged matchup empowers Pantheon. There's some cheeky things you can do level 1, uh, but mostly I think Ari has to be favored. She has push early. There's no backing in this particular mode. We're on the Howling Abyss. So once you're out of mana, you're done. So I think patience is Pantheon's game to level 4. We'll see what actually happens.
Yeah, absolutely. So you mentioned the charm. The charm can obviously interrupt Pantheon's dash, and that can be really important here. Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Pantheon just get like a small mini rework too, right? And was that this
Yes,
patch?
yes, it was. I would argue that they are buffs, and I think he plays best in mid lane right now, personally.
Hmm.
His W does more damage per level. His Q lost the slow, but I want to say it does more damage. I'd have to look at the numbers. The biggest thing was his E doesn't take tower shots anymore. That was the biggest thing to boot him out of the support role. They gave him some quality of life buffs on his ultimate. When you press R, that spear that used to signal that he's coming still does, but now it does damage and slows as well. So you actually want to aim it as a skill shot, which is actually pretty fun and quality of life part of his kit. So it's
And
pretty fun if you played it.
you can't extend the duration of Pantheon E anymore either, right? So like the max stacks on your mortal, your passive, right? It only gives you move speed now instead of the extra 1 second duration, right?
Yes, and it's 60% move speed, I do declare. I want to say that's the number, which is a hideous amount.
Mm. So
When
something interesting, I guess we can see here now is like Ari already had a sort of weird matchup into the Pantheon Shield where you would be able to Q, and since your Q comes back through on the other side, you still actually apply the true damage portion to Pantheon. So I'd expect the change to his E to be a little bit less impactful in this matchup since some of Ari's damage can already go through it.
Yeah, Ari just needs to farm, push and try to poke with her Qs, and not let him just W on her face, jump and get the pressy attack, quick autos, and then an empowered Q, or I guess baby empowered Q into the
Hmm.
empowered E back off. So
So you mentioned press the attack there. What are your thoughts on like runes and summoner spell choices coming into this match?
Ari, I would like to say favors electrocute, which is good because if she hits her spells, then she's going to do a lot of damage, and it's good for burst trades. Um, I think secondary, she has to go mana flow. I think you need the sustain, especially in the Howling Abyss. Pantheon is ought to go press the attack. You're totally allowed to go conqueror. You're totally allowed to go electrocute. which is really good in the 1v1 as well, but it's a higher cooldown.
Mhm.
Press the attack, it gets proc whenever your W's up. So I still would like to see that, but yep, press the attack.
All right, so it looks like this match is going to be
Oh,
centered
double
around.
combat suns.
Yeah, I'm not too surprised to see that. I'm actually a little bit surprised to see the ignite here. I would have expected maybe like exhaust barrier here and just try and outlast the Pantheon.
This is gonna be
Because
feisty.
yeah, the Pantheon should be looking a lot at going for the all-in. He did take Flash for that explicit purpose, making sure that the Ahri can't space him out.
Mhm.
Both champions, since it's Howling Abyss, get to start at level 3, so we should see some sparks fly early in this game without having to wait for level ups. As a
They
quick
both buy
reminder
Go ahead.
to the audience, the win conditions are going to be first blood, first turret, or first to 100 CS, correct?
Yes.
And this is a best of 3 match in the losers bracket finals. So the winner of this will move on to play in our finals right after this, and the loser will take home third place. So as we get into the start of this game, we're going to see just posturing around the minion wave. Pantheon will engage. Lots of damage being traded back and forth between these two champions. Ahri already down to half mana, and that's going to be a drag on her going into the rest of the game. She does have the fairy charm, though.
And she sustains off the way through her passive, slowly but surely. She took 4 pots, I'd like to say. Flash out of the Pantheon. Exhaust comes through. He doesn't take tower shots anymore. This is going to be first blood. Pantheon secures the kill. Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah, that's a really quick end to our first game. As we see their Pantheon coming in, flashing out of the bush, proxy ignite, and gets the kill under turret. Perfect. Honestly, I did not expect that to go as well as it did for the Pantheon. Great play coming out of them. And picks up the win in the first game, going over to the side of Caged Reaper, right?
Crazy. Yeah, 2 W's. That's all it takes.
Yeah, and we're going to move right into game 2. That was blisteringly fast. Maybe we'll see the Pantheon ban coming out after we saw that come out.
What's the password, Shadow, for...
What's the password?
Password is ban Pantheon in all caps. Make it to spectator. Wait. There we go. There has to be somebody in the lobby. That's crazy. Wow. I mean, I didn't even have time to take in the scenery.
No,
Just over and done
absolutely.
with.
That was very fast and very impressive. I haven't seen New Pantheon at all, so I was actually very
Yeah,
surprised.
they were buffs.
I was like, oh, he's turret diving. He's just going to die to the turret when he gets charmed.
Definitely.
I think we need one of them to drop down if you want to send out the invite. Nope. One more. You're going to need to resend the invite.
Cool.
Awesome. Here we go.
Bands?
Yeah, so. I don't know if anyone remembers.
Cyanide banned Wukong
And Wukong, Annie. What was the other one? I said
Annie
it.
and
It's Diana.
ooh,
Yeah.
Diana?
Yeah, and then moving into game 2, we will see the same bans repeated from the side of Cyanite. Collie Quinley Sin coming out from
Right.
Reaper again. We're good to go once the players want to start it up.
That does leave the availability to run it back. So we'll
Yeah.
see what draft has in store for us.
No changes coming along. I'd be interested to see if this is like a fake out coming out from Cyanite saying, "Oh, he's going to play Pantheon again. I'll pick something that I think counters Pantheon,"
Mhm.
or if they are just going to say, "Oh, I misplayed a little bit this time. I'm going to play the Ari again." If they pick Pantheon, I know I can make the plays happen and more confidence going into it.
Yeah, and a cleanse might be the option, and if you're going to go double combat sums, just if into Pantheon, just to immediately
Hmm.
negate the stun and waddle away
Yeah, I
with
don't.
your nine tails between your legs.
Yeah, I don't think Flash and I don't think Ignite is really going to be the answer there. As since you're the range champion in the matchup, I feel like it's really safe for you to just take double defensive summoners and say,
Mhm.
"Hey, you need to all in me. I'm going to make sure you can't all in me until I'm 6. Once I'm 6, I can just ult away and or kill you with the ulti when you go in since you have a mobility ulti and I will play for CS and push and have fun." We do see hovers coming in here. No lock-ins just yet. Fizz and Cho'Gath on either side. That would be an interesting matchup.
Yeah, I was just imagining. Oh, and Pantheon.
The Pantheon will come out again for Cage Reaper.
If it ain't
Explosive
broke,
showing the first game.
I think Echo is not favored into Pantheon.
I'm wondering where the Caitlyn pick is. Um, Perhaps like Cyanite's not comfortable on the champion, but I'm surprised that there's no like aside from the Quinn ban, there's no AD carry bans. Because I
Yeah,
feel like you could very easily just take something with extremely long range and just not play the game.
or a bruiser, Darius, Renekton, something that has a chance to tank a rotation and fight back.
Yeah. We will see the Ari locked again. We will see the run back. Everything's going to be same, just sides are going to be swapped. We will have Ari on the top side of the map and Pantheon on the bottom. I don't think that makes any difference on Howling Abyss. I don't know of any non-mirrored elements on that map. Um, yeah, it should be
The
interesting.
bushes.
Yeah, the bushes are the same, right?
It's on your
It's
left versus on your right.
which doesn't matter unless you're Diana, right? Like,
I guess it's vertically, it's horizontally mirrored across the equator, not vertically mirrored across the prime meridian. So if you're laning facing south, the champion has bushes on the right
mhm.
versus on the left. I don't know if that actually matters.
I think the only champions I can think of that actually have abilities affected by that are Diana and Blitzcrank, since Blitzcrank hook shoots out of the left side of his body. It shoots out of one of the sides of his body,
Hmm.
not directly in the middle. And then Diana Q obviously is,
Favored on a hook shot, but that goes through minions anyhow.
yeah, the angle can be interesting with the bushes.
It
But
draws
certainly for these
across.
two champions, um, unless we're gonna get really nitpicky and talk about the way that Foxfire rotates around Ari, I don't think there's
At
any
that point,
difference.
the Coriolis effect is it's just too big. We can't worry about
I wonder actually, I'd like to talk to like the best Aurelion Soul player in the world
it.
and I'd be interested to see if they play to a different side of the map based on whether they're red or blue side because of the direction their stars rotate.
I know
That
you're
would be
supposed to swim
really
circles
interesting.
around people because it speeds up the rotation if you're rotating
If
with your stars. But
yeah,
at this point, we're
exactly.
drifting too close to theoretical physics, so I'll recuse myself.
No, 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 but you're right because if it'd be really interesting if like if you're on red side as a soul, if you play to the bottom side of mid lane so that you can walk up mid lane when you're
Mhm.
trading to get more stars, that'd be very the little things in league, you know?
Yeah,
The things you
but
don't
min
think of.
maxing at the highest level, where it's like past the point of diminished returns, and you're like going from 97 to 97.2.
I'd imagine that on a soul, like actually getting instant electrocute procs or something like that is actually
Yeah,
sort of broken. Same thing with like you can count TF cards in your head permanently because they're on a continuous cooldown behind the actual spell. So you can always double click your ability and know what TF card you have if you have a perfect clock in your head.
That's a special level of obsessive compulsive disorder.
Hey, that was the thing back in season 2. If you didn't do that, you weren't Korean. You were not Messiah.
Mm, Counting cards
Uh,
beyond.
yeah, I gotta wonder if musicians have a special benefit there. We will see Ari running back the same runes, but she does have this time the barrier and the flash
Mm.
coming into this. I'm
A little
just
more
gonna,
respect.
yeah, absolutely. Just
Ah,
gonna,
Seekers too. Yep.
hmm yeah, just fast forwarding to the max, making sure that we get everything synced up here. Uh, yeah, and aside from that, the Flash here coming out saying that, hey, I don't want to get run down under my turret like last time. I want to be able to have some outplay potential prior to my ulti coming up. As you mentioned, Seeker's Arm Guard coming out, meaning that Pantheon's really his best window is going to be on the first wave, as we saw before. Not letting that Seeker's stack the armor stacks, not letting it get cost effective. But if Ari's able to last out for like the first few waves until like level 4, she should be in a pretty good position. An important thing to note here, Ari did feed the Poro.
Oh, that's. I mean, Vegas
That
odds just shifted 3 points in her favor.
exactly. The big plays coming in early game here. Pantheon won't get the early engage like they did last game on the first wave, and that's boding well for Ari thus far. I think you can really view this lane matchup in a slow play fashion, where the longer the game goes, the more favored Ari's going to be. Sort of like a microcosm of like a Vayne matchup or something like that.
Yeah, at the very least, she's gonna have an easier time CSing,
Hmm
but
And
she
of
is
course,
playing very timid.
once we do hit 6, though, I do expect, since Pantheon doesn't really have an ulti there, Ari should swing pretty heavily in her favor once we hit 6.
Yeah.
We will see. So interesting. We didn't mention this before, but Guardian Blade comes out for
Oh,
Pantheon. Flash coming
flash
in.
on Pantheon, Baryon, or Baryon used. Ignite makes sure that Pantheon. Oh, a little short spear. Make sure that Pantheon comes ahead. So no sums on either party.
But this
So
is
just waiting.
Pantheon's engage gone, so he's gonna either have to hope Ari makes a misplay, but she does hit 6 here, so that's gonna be even more difficult now.
Mhm.
Or he's gonna have to wait for that flash to come back up, which he should have enough time for before the 100 CS win condition, but it's gonna be a slow roll.
I mean, he's almost double digits, doubling her CS. Excuse me.
Yeah, so for now, the Pantheon is definitely going to be ahead in CS. I wonder if they'll be able to keep that up. We did see Pantheon start tier as well on top of that Guardian Blade, just saying, this is going to give me the most mana of any item I can purchase.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly interesting. Something else interesting, since there's no backing on Howling Abyss, you won't be able to buy items. Uh, actually getting cannons doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's just raw numbers.
Yeah, it's just 1 CS for the cannon. Be interesting to see like a dedicated 1v1 or 2v2 rule set for like to be able to be selected. Ari is low on mana though. Pantheon running in, gets the stun, looking for a trade here. Shouldn't be able to clean up the kill, but is looking to do a lot of damage, chunking Ari out down
Oh,
really low
he's
here.
got a cube. Does he have the W? He got charmed. True damage coming through. Foxfire is going to pick up the kill. Last bit of mana, just enough to wipe him off the map. We're tied 1-1.
We are tied 1-1, as you said, going in to game 3. The salty run back pays off for the side of Cyanite. Will pick up the victory in Ari versus Pantheon this time around.
Do we see best of 3 Panthari? Are we
I
just
wonder.
lo
I'd
mismo, lo
be
mismo?
I'd be a little bit more worried if I was Caged Reaper going into a third Pantheon versus Ari matchup. Like that game 2 definitely showed that Cyanite learned from their mistakes in the first game
Yeah.
and played around the Pantheon spike a little bit harder than before. So I would be pretty concerned running it back again.
What beats Ari?
Uh, Lots of things. I guess like it's Ari is an interesting champion. Is like in base league, I'm not a master of one versus one, but if you're laning against her, the best thing you can normally do is just play a better Ari, which normally means playing just a control mage and out CSing her, and then not getting all in by her. I'm pretty sure most champions that want to all in her, since they rebuffed Charm to be able to cancel dashes, if the Ari's playing as well as possible, she should be able to outplay anyone with the Charm. But then again, we are not playing with challenger level players here, so it's fairly safe to
Ooh, got him.
um well, I think it's unfair to assume that they have the same mechanical level of Faker or Chovy.
That's
Uh,
funny.
One of the interesting things about that is so like the LeBlanc Zoe matchup is something that changes entirely dependent on whether or not it is literally the best mid laners on the planet playing it or just normal LCS level mid laners. It's really interesting. Like those sort of matchups change their entire dynamic based on how good the players are. And
Well,
I think Ari is one of those champions, essentially.
I mean, same hovers, just rage lock in.
Just
Feeling Ari.
running it back,
I
salty run
don't
back on
know
both
any
sides,
other
perhaps.
champions. I mean, you have to assume Cage Reaper. If you're Cyanite, Cage Reaper is going to play Pantheon. So naturally, the Ivern counter.
I don't know. I have no idea if Ivern counters Pantheon. Yeah, I'd wager it's a no. Like shields are good, but I don't feel like the base armor on Ivern's gonna be high enough. I should look up what
Versus,
champions have
and he
insane
beats
base
Ari.
armor. I really feel like, honestly, if you wanted to still be brawly and play into Pantheon, you should pick like Leona or Braum or something
He didn't pick
and go for
Pantheon, he
attack
picked
speed.
Fizz. Let's go.
This is surely worse, right? Into the Ari?
I mean, you can trickster a lot of fun cooldowns,
But if Ari just doesn't cast her cooldowns until you commit.
but you have to, like, okay, so you're autoing the
Yeah,
wave,
yeah,
and then
you
he
just
walks up to you and cues you through the minions. You can't charm him. Q auto W gets off and you E away. Or you're
mm,
queuing through the wave and you're forced to walk away or E forward. And I think that's how she beats him. But then she doesn't have her Q to do damage, so the trade goes even if she hits her Q. And it's still a question mark. Fizz has a lot of pressure in that lane.
yeah, I guess without junglers, you can't really punish Fizz for just arbitrarily using Q, so it could be very good for him.
Now
I
this
wonder if
pack,
like
go ahead.
if you stand beside the wave as Ari and then you can just interrupt every single Q.
Yeah, positioning definitely is important, especially since Fizz his passive one reduces a little bit of damage, and since all of Ari's abilities, the bulk of her damage actually is split between 2 parts on the Q and 3 parts on the Foxfire. His passive is super useful into her because it's per item of damage. But he gets to walk in the minions with ease, so it's really for easy for him to dodge charms too.
Yeah.
Not that I've played a lot of Fizz.
Not that I've done that or anything. I sense a hint of guilt in your voice, sir.
Not that one of my best buddies is an Ari main, and I love kicking his ass.
um, I do wonder. You certainly are supposed to take attack speed on Ari in this lane. Like you take attack speed just so you have better wave control and better harassment without using your spells. But I also wonder if you just like take Dorn's blades.
Yeah,
It's like as you
Doran's
said,
blade,
it
fleet
might be hard to
footwork.
land effective spells. So like max charm or something just for CC duration and take Dorn's blades.
That's crazy.
It's
I don't know if there are Doran's items on ARAM.
right, AD items perhaps, starting AD items.
That's
Um
crazy, but that's all you get.
yeah, well
A
exactly,
Sheen,
but AP is it's so important that you get a lot of AP or your cooldowns get really low for AP
mhm.
to be useful for
Caulfield boots, 2 pots. Let's go.
Yeah. I just wondering because, like, if I'm playing into a cast-in mid lane and I'm playing a ranged mid laner, I'd start Cull and take attack speed. I'm
Yeah.
gonna I auto attack the champion to death and use abilities to wave clear and push him under turret. And you
No.
can't play. It's insane. Like you do this on Xerath, and Caston cannot play lane. So I wonder if it's applicable in a matchup like this as well.
Yeah, I play Renekton, so it's like, do I go Doran's Blade or a longsword? Like, there's no Cull doesn't even exist.
Cull is my favorite item in League.
All
We can
right,
get away
well,
with it.
sure.
It's a wonderful. I love not playing lane phase.
I
It's a
remember
good
back
thing
when
I
the
didn't play
Klepto
this
was a
1v1
thing.
tournament because everyone would hate it. Because I would
Yeah,
just.
Nuggery Cull Klepto on every champion top lane.
Mm-hmm. No, I would just play for CS and have the highest range, highest disengaged champion possible every game. It's
All
just like if you're not banning Caitlyn, I'm first picking Caitlyn. You can't counter me. Good luck.
right. So we're seeing snow globes out of both. Ooh,
Mm.
I'm way behind.
All
Let's
right.
speed up. 27, 28. Okay.
So we see Winter Orb, Guardian's Orb now, not Winter Orb.
It's a snow
Guardian's
globe.
Orb, Fairy Charm 4 pot for the RE, and then Guardian's Orb tier 1 pot for the Fizz. So definitely, I'd say that the item selection there is a little bit disjointed. The tier going for long trades, but
Oh, trade
we do
before
see the
minions.
engage coming
See,
in.
there's the Trickster. Big autos. Ignite coming out, forcing the flash and the barrier.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
no.
I I think that's game. I
After you
Ari
miss
can't
your
walk into the
charm,
wave.
yeah, after you miss your charm, you can't face check. That is just so sad. Fizz owns this lane, but honestly, it's okay. He's gonna have to dive you,
Mm.
and if he at her current health, he has to hit his Trickster. So she has a chance to charm outplay on the tower for sure.
You know what the most important thing here is? Ari just fed the Poro now. So I think that's what lost her the early trade. Carrying too much weight in Poro's neck.
Yeah, it's hard to
Slow on the
carry up.
reaction time.
Okay.
We'll see Fizz steal the health pickup away from Ari too, being
We
a
didn't get
little
the
bit.
redemption though.
No. So right now it is just the summoner spell disadvantage, flash to no flash
Yeah.
going into this fight. Uh, both champions are at that same level, both at level 5. CS advantage is going to Fizz, but only slightly. And Ari has pots to Fizz's no pot, so it still has to be an all-in. Fizz probably just looking to pop it off when he hits 6. But the wave's pushing against him, so Ari will hit 6 first,
Yeah,
barring
that's what I was
something.
gonna say. He needs to turn the minions to abuse the no flash on the Ari.
But
If
that
he can
won't be
get
able to
6,
happen before the crash, and there we go. Ari hits 6, looking for the engage onto the
oof,
Fizz.
little head fakes, little jukey jukes.
And we see the advantage here of 4-pot versus tier coming in here. The Ari being able to full heal up after that disastrous level 1,
hmm
whereas Fizz still sitting there with no pots and not able to take any just minor trades anymore. He's probably going to lose a lot of these minions under turret too, unless he uses Playful Trickster to clear them, but
Yeah,
that's going to be
she
super
backed
risky.
off entirely. She's half mana, so if he can, I would say like ult early, force her to use a bunch of her spells, and just get her out of mana, and then wait for that second cooldown and be good to go. But kind of took a sour trade there. Ooh, big charm on the minion she didn't see, and it's okay.
Mr.
She's right.
President right there from the minion.
Right. Still winning on forced out of the redemption proc. That's fine. Oh. It's really hard to farm under tower.
Yeah,
And you don't want to take any more chunks.
we will see that CS gap likely closed by the Ari here. Being able to pick him off, but she is down now to 25% mana, and that's barely enough for one rotation right now. Only sitting on 200 mana. That's not even enough for your full rotation right now as Ari, so you have to be really careful. And if Reaper sees this, next time Q goes down, especially after picking up this health relic in the back here, you might be looking at that as your only opportunity to fight. And the heal now down on
Yeah,
Ari
she just
too.
used her passive, so. Oh no, the fish goes wide. He still goes in, dodges the charm, or rather the minion eats it, but there's just too much damage coming out of the Ari. 2 more autos? Nope.
Ari's
Oh,
Fizz is out
man.
of HP. It's gonna be weird. Fizz, honestly, I have to wonder if he has to run down this redemption proc in the back line there. His own redemption. Can we even see that in spectator mode? I don't think we can.
No. Darn.
Can I ping it?
Flash charm?
Nope.
Flash charm?
Oh, he knew when
yeah,
it was coming up. He knew when it was coming
yeah,
up.
yeah. They both do. They both did. They both did.
Hmm. Oh, good plays, but the HP discrepancy here, and now with Ari back to half mana, ulti coming up in 40 seconds. Flash still available. Fizz. Honestly, if I'm Ari here, I just like flash W,
There's
and
a
then
charm.
if Fizz casts anything, I'm just like, all right.
That's a
Well,
flash charm under tower. He just forces Trickster, he doesn't have flash.
mm,
Oh man. Oh. Yeah, the individual Foxfires each do nil to Fizz. Oh, careful about burning your mana. He can still. What's the ultimate timer? Chum the Waters is almost back up.
in 35 still on Ari. Just
Okay.
want to check out how much damage does this ability do. Okay, so Foxfire does like 40 damage to this after his passive.
Yeah.
And the MR, it'll do somewhere in the range of 40 to 50 damage. It's actually insane. I don't even think you should skill that ability for anything other than move speed. We do see the
Ooh,
big
come
attack.
connect. Dodges the charm. Barrier is not going to be enough. I think he can just run her down with the Ignite. Flash to try and stay away,
Oh,
but as soon as Fizz gets another cooldown.
the shrine should spawn really quick, though. The
Oh
shrine's
my
coming up.
gosh.
Oh, it's up!
And
But
a good
Cage
game over to Cage
Reaper will
Reaper.
take the kill.
Oh man, the nail biter.
Yeah, what a final game in the series. That was actually hype as heck.
Yeah, GG
Super
both.
fun. So we will bid adieu to Cyanite coming in third place in our 12 Days of Riftmas 1v1 tournament extravaganza. And we will be moving on to our official finals coming down between Caged Reaper and Squirrel, was it?
Squirrel Sensei.
Squirrel
I
Sensei. Now, give us a hot second just to get that match set up for us. It should be interesting to see. I wonder if we will see Squirrel play for the brawls again, or if it'll be more oriented towards farming and disengage.
It's pretty hard to get to tower. I mean, unless you're picking like Heimerdinger or something. It's
Yeah, I'd
pretty hard to get
imagine.
to CS tower conditions in 1v1.
I'd imagine tower is definitely rough. Um, unless, yeah, of course, unless you're building something dedicated to doing it.
Yeah.
Unless you're maybe playing Ziggs or something.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be interesting. I don't know if we have too many like super talented Ziggs players in
Yeah, well,
CEAL.
the problem too in the ARAM, you're not gonna force them to back, so it's hard to get damage on the tower.
Mm,
They're always gonna be lingering,
hmm.
so challenging
I
or
just wonder if you
contesting.
can poke them out.
Yeah, but I mean,
Good minion management.
yeah, it's just hard. I see a lot of Vayne. Squirrel Sensei's match history, a lot of good recent Vayne games. If I'm looking at the correct page, we'll see what happens. Give me one quick moment. Feel free to start. There's a huge delay. So
Yeah, go for it. As was mentioned there, Vayne is interesting going into a 1v1 matchup. As anyone who's played Bruiser into Vayne top lane knows, it's very, 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 very obnoxious. So it'd be interesting to see if that comes out perhaps as a pocket pick or not. We will see Caged actually banning the main alongside Clust and Draven. We will see the 80 carry bans come out, and then Squirrel Sensei responding Diana Wukong Pantheon. We'll see the Pantheon banned. This time Annie will get through, so it'll be interesting to see if Reaper picks up the Annie. And with that, we're just going to move into picks here. And once we have those locked in, we'll have a good idea of what sort of matchup to expect. It looks like Squirrel Sensei primarily plays 80 carries, so it'll be interesting to see if an AD carry gets picked here. And if Annie is picked in response, I'd have to imagine that Annie has a pretty favorable matchup, even into things like Caitlyn. Um, if she's not running like cleanse barriers, something like that, just to one shot her. We do see Ezreal being hovered here, alluding to perhaps an AD carry pick. And then Nico on the other side, maybe just trolling around with that. Reaper wasn't the wasn't known to hover what they're actually going to play. Should be interesting to see how this ends up playing out. 29 seconds left for our players to decide on what they're going to play. And with the after our last match, it'll be interesting to see if it's another brawl fest or if it really does come down to uh, scaling or timers or something like that. We'll see Nico locked in for the side of Cage Reaper and the Ezreal coming out for Squirrel Sensei. And this matchup's interesting. Ezreal has absolutely no kill pressure, I have to imagine, coming into this matchup. So it's just going to be Ezreal looking for the farm victory, and Nico should have almost no kill pressure onto Ezreal. Like, the only way you're going to pick up kills in this lane is if you connect your E through the minion wave. Maybe it's AD Nico, and you can max your E, look for that early 3-second root. But without that, I feel like it's going to be really hard to pick up kills in this matchup. So we might just be looking at a fairly long CS victory here until, or more likely, someone gets to 90 CS and the other one all ins hoping to pick up the
Yeah.
kill.
Nico will get. I mean, if you're casting on cooldown, you get 2 binds to his 1 shift. So
Yeah, but you can just sidestep it too, right? Like, assuming that you're going to hit every single one can be difficult. You might be able to play the mana game with Nico by doing that, though. Ezreal's Arcane Shift costs an absurd amount of mana early game. So if Nico is casting her E off of cooldown and is maxing it and is going AD by that virtue, not using Q, not spending mana in other spots, you might be able to pick up a lot of pressure onto Ezreal, at least onto his mana pool.
yeah, and if you're going for the farm push tower-ish win condition, I want to say Ezreal should take fleet footwork if that's the idea,
Yeah,
just to enable sustain.
well, you certainly wouldn't want to see Conquer come out of Ezreal here, since it's probably not going to be very useful unless it is coming down to that all-in, in which case your summoner spells are way more important. Um, Trying to think. I wonder if you could get away with like Omnistone. Omnistone can actually be really useful in weird scenarios like this.
Yeah, it just depends on what he wants to do, right?
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what alternatives there are here. It's really, I think it's Fleet or Omni. Grasp is a little bit too memey, I'd say. There's no
Yeah, if it were
HP.
melee, maybe. But Nico's pretty far ranged for a mage, and she can go invis. So
Yeah. There's just 20 seconds left until we get into this match here. So we talked a little bit about Ezreal's runes there. What do you think Nico's gonna take?
um, electrocute, maybe comet, but
Hmm.
honestly, it's electrocute. If you're gonna do your damage, because you either hit him on the shift or you're standing and autoing, and it's electrocute.
I wonder if, I mean, if she's AD, there's obviously the chance of PTA, but yeah, I think if she's going AP, Electrocute's probably the way to go. We do see the Electrocute come out. High likelihood then that it will be a AP Nico coming out here. Ezreal will take the Conqueror here, and does have both Barrier and Exhaust, probably expecting a more all-in matchup coming into here. And Nico with the Ignite Flash.
Welcome to the howling abyss.
All right, so
139 now.
as we get into this item-wise, we do see a Guardian's Horn coming out for Nico. So that's just HP regen, saying that I am just gonna sit here and I'm gonna farm with my abilities. And Ezreal on the other side with the Guardian's Blade tier. Very interesting. Interesting how this will play out. These are legendary items. I mean, it's actually interesting. I haven't played ARAM since they introduced the new mythic items, but these starting items count as legendaries for your mythic items. That's interesting.
Ooh. Yeah, and the ARAM starting items were already incredibly efficient.
Yeah. I'd never taken them because just playing
Sure.
ARAM, I'm like, all right, I just want to efficiently get to my item spikes as fast as possible. Deaths don't really matter early game, so I'm not used to looking at them, but that's interesting. We will see. It's going to be a slow match, I'd say. Lots of farming here. Aggressive Arcane Shift coming out of Ezreal. We are going for the all-in, apparently. Screw whatever I was just saying. Cage Reaper taking the worst end of that trade. A lot of... what's the seal safe word for what Ezreal just displayed there? A lot of aggression coming out of him there, with the early Arcane Shift preempting the Nico E. Lots and rewarded actually heavily
Hey,
by it.
if you dodge your burst, you have a free window for 4-5 good autos.
Yeah, that was insane actually, dodging the tangle barbs there preemptively. We will see HP's mostly equalized here.
Oh.
Nico flashing in.
He doesn't have flash, so once the shift is down, I don't know if it's enough to kill, but it's enough to equalize the health differential. Excuse me.
Yeah, Nico coming out to a small HP benefit there, thanks to the Ignite ticking down on the back end. But now, both champions, no summoner spells. Nico with no ulti, Ezreal still has ulti. CS pretty much even. No, with no flash on Nico, it's going to be very hard for her to get in onto the Ezreal for another combo. So just looking to poke him through the minions as we see here. I wonder, at this point, if the game does end up coming down to CS, I wonder what level of Nico-ness you're gonna get, where you start like maybe using your clone to block mystic shots on minions.
Right. I mean, the mind games are... Ooh! Speaking of mind games, excuse me, deft little sidestep. Arcane Shift out of the Pod Blossom. Or rather, excuse me, the Blooming Burst. Pod Blossom is the ulti.
Yeah, I don't think that trade for Ezreal there was entirely beneficial. I feel like he probably went down more HP than he gained off of taking that shrine there. And had to use Arcane Shift, which is certainly more mana than it
And
was
this is where I
worth.
think the Fleet Footwork would have served him better than Conqueror. We've seen one extended trade where he almost procced it, and I haven't been counting autos, but I feel like his health bar would be about 200 heavier if he.
I feel like the Ezreal might actually be full HP right now if they had taken Fleet.
Because you're just free autos, you're just allowed to free auto.
Yeah. Though maybe they would have died in the all-ins. Maybe. Sure. Probably not died, but done a lot of less damage, but Nico's at full HP anyways, so it doesn't matter.
There's only been one real all-in, and the skirmish doesn't really count. You get like one extra auto with 2 AD.
So to defend the Conqueror here, I suppose, I'm pretty sure you don't get to see what champion you're playing against, because it's blind pick.
Yeah,
And Caged Reaper has a tendency to pick all-in champions, from what I can tell.
sure.
So the Conqueror would make sense in that context. In which case, maybe we should just be praising Reaper for the juke here by picking the Nico.
Oh, he's gonna shift away. Everything hits.
yeah.
Ignite confirms. Are we going under tower for it? Barrier bait. Oh my gosh.
Very low HP coming out on the Ezreal now.
One spell, one Q to rule them all. Can he get it? Just hold on, patience. That was a
What?
sneaky
All right,
little W
connect.
Q.
I
Oh, man.
okay. Didn't expect that one. We see a lot of minions being missed by the Nico, just trying to shove this wave into
Yeah.
turret. I think now is probably her best time to back up and pick up the 2 health shrines behind her, but she wants to keep being around here.
That would have been crazy if he
that was
ran
the
in
real
as
one.
the real one. Yeah.
That
Oh
would have
my
been.
gosh. You have to start outside a tower though.
Yeah. We do see HP pretty much equalized here, and Caged Reaper down on mana, but should be able to get that in. Oh,
I'm
it's
frozen.
happened on your screen too, right? We're frozen?
I'm frozen at 6 flat.
Okay, let me see if I can fix this. I don't know what's going on here. 6 minutes is the time limit here. Producer, you want to message the players and ask if it's okay on their end? All right, well, while we get this sorted out, so let's talk a little bit about the current game state here. We see Ezreal chasing down the Nico, looking for perhaps a trade before she's able to pick up this health shrine. But,
Oh,
oh,
I'm like hearing sounds.
yeah, oh,
Spectator data unavailable. The game will now exit.
okay. So, I don't know what just happened. Who do you think won?
I don't know. Ezreal? I don't know.
I'm gonna try and reconnect, just see if something happens. Well, that is unfortunate.
What the heck? I've never seen that before.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, it wasn't on your end. Okay, so I've loaded back in, and I'm a minute behind where we were. And yeah, the game just ends at 6 minutes. The game data just ends at 6 minutes, which is where we were. So, okay. Okay, so that was the Nico came out there. I'm gonna assume what
Ooh.
happened is when the Ezreal went in for the trade there, Nico managed to clip him with the Tangle Barbs and burst him down. All right, so game 1 going over to the Nico in that climactic conclusion to
I
our
know,
first
right?
match.
That's insane. I've literally never seen that happen before. It's crazy.
That's interesting. It loses the thing. That's cool. I haven't. I didn't realize that was how that worked because.
Yeah. You're allowed to spectate until the game ended, not when the game state concludes real time.
That might be a Riot issue on their end as well.
Same bands.
What the bands? Yes. All right. Well, we will be rolling into game 2 of this best of 3, correct? We are just best of 3 for the finals?
Yep.
Okay. Game 2 of the best of 3, Caged Reaper is leading after that Nico performance.
Since they're
Manages
copies of
to,
same bands.
yeah, wait out the Ezreal there, and yes, same bands as you mentioned.
Go ahead and start.
So going into game 2, do you expect any sort of innovations coming out of these players? Or perhaps the salty run back indeed? Oh no. Okay. So while we get that sorted out, moving into game 2, I'm interested to see if Cage swaps things up. I feel like the Nico was a surprise pick coming out of them and took Squirrel Sensei off guard, and we do see the Annie currently being hovered. Uh, that would be really interesting here. I think Annie's really strong in this sort of game mode, especially if your opponent doesn't have a chance to select runes into her and just like stack some MR. You'll be able to get a good chance at bursting them down if they don't take uh, bruiser items or the double defensive summoners. On the other end, we do see Lee Sin being hovered. Perhaps that's as a response to expecting a swap up. I don't think I'd like to see Lee Sin into Nico, but assuming Nico's being swapped up and perhaps even expecting the Annie, just saying here, I'm going to max W out lifesteal you. We'll see that Lee Sin locked in. Rek'Sai on the other side, and oh no, this is Lee Sin's worst nightmare in normal League of Legends, and I assume it's no better in a lane matchup 1v1.
I go crazy at the door.
This is gonna be loco. I got some chips. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, and Caged coming out here with the counter pick essentially into the Lee Sin here. Lee Sin should not be able to connect a Q onto Rek'Sai ever here, and should just be losing these 1v1 trades. Can't even realistically disengage with his Dragon Kick just because of Rek'Sai ulti. So you're gonna have to see some hard outplays coming out of Squirrel Sensei to be able to pull this one out, I think.
That said, I think the sustain advantage goes to Lee Sin. And if you see something cheeky like just a Tiamat purchase, we might Lee Sin might actually win through shoving.
Hmm. Yeah, I wonder. I don't know what items you would start here. I'm assuming it's just the sword thing that the Guardian's Blade or whatever that we've seen all of the other AD champions pick up. But you're right, we could see something spicy coming out. Both champions manaless as well, so don't have to worry about one person being stalled out or resourced out in this matchup.
And in the 1v1, Rek'Sai should max E. It does an unrealistic amount of true damage once you get a few points in it.
Now, is this a Conqueror matchup or is this a PTA matchup, do you think?
This is it's Conqueror. Both
Yeah.
champions can stack it very quickly and do a lot of good work with the healing on the sustained end of things.
Yeah, just want to keep it going as fast as possible. Be able to survive in the extended trades. It's going to be an interesting matchup. I definitely, as I mentioned earlier, I feel like Rek'Sai should be favored, and Lee Sin's going to have to pull out some interesting plays to be able to win this mirror here. But that said, I hope it does because we'll be able to go into game 3 if that does happen. Keep in mind, Rek'Sai Caged Reaper is up 1-0 in this best of 3 finals, and should be exciting to see where it goes.
I know I'm ready for some action. And we're talking a lot about the Blind Monk versus the what is she? Remember the Xerxai? I forget the actual name of her species. But remember, Rek'Sai is going to be farming. So the outplay mechanic comes from when she's burrowed underground and gets to just right click and always knock him up. So she has to be prepared for the Q to come in. So we might be able to see windows where Lee Sin gets free trades, or at least has the ability to make the trade.
Yeah, exactly. I do wonder though if you connect the Lee Sin Q, I feel like you instantly go burrow then. So it might be difficult. As we are now loading in the game, we'll get to see how this actually plays out instead of just running our mouths about what we think might happen. And
Oh man, that's my favorite part.
yeah, I love it too. We do see Hail of
Hail
Blades
Blades,
coming out on the Rex side.
electrocute.
Electrocute on the Lee Sin. Barrier on the Lee Sin side as well versus Ignite on Rex side. Both of them having Flash. I'm pretty sure both of them expecting to be playing into ranged matchups on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Rek'Sai coming out with the serrated Dirk.
Yeah.
And
Emax
Guardian's
with your
Hammer for
body,
Lee Sin.
please. Can't go in.
Yeah, come in. I'm not attack moving, don't worry. For those in the chat who might not understand exactly how this matchup works, if Lee Sin connects a Q onto Rek'Sai while they're burrowed, if Rek'Sai just attack moves and lets Lee Sin come in on her, she will automatically attack Lee Sin before the damage on Resonating Strike connects, knocking him up, knocking him out of the damage, and just harshly winning the trade.
Ooh, he actually got the Q off before. Oh my gosh, the Rek'Sai
beast.
Ignite with Hail Blades.
Yeah, that's a trade right there. Lee Sin actually managed to connect the Q during
The channel of the tunnel.
Yeah, during the tunnel there, but not enough. Not enough. And Rek'Sai there did expend Ignite there versus Barrier, and Lee Sin is running pots versus Rek'Sai not running pots. So being able to out-sustain here is definitely going to be Lee Sin's game, especially with the Guardian's Hammer that we see, giving him lifesteal.
And Rek'Sai does get to out of the wave and get a little bit of health back. Oh no, she missed the redemption proc. That's funny.
Oh no, the 10 HP. It'll be interesting. I think if Lee Sin just gets levels and lets base armor start outscaling the serrated Dirk, he should be in a good position. And I find it's certainly possible, but I find it hard to believe that either of these players are going to be patient enough to wait till 100 CS for something to die.
Yeah, no way. Lee Sin has 3, so.
I mean, I think Rek'Sai will be favored in that, especially based on the early CS advantage.
Yeah, there's so much game left to play, though. We're actually going to go for 90 more CS.
Yeah, exactly.
12, 13, 14 waves at pretty efficient farming.
Here's an honest question here. If since you can't back, since CS doesn't matter until you have 100, do you just not CS?
I
if
mean,
you're planning for an all-in?
And
Like, you just stand behind the minion wave and say, come at me?
yeah, if you're Lee Sin, and honestly Rek'Sai has a mechanic of building her Fury Bar too, you're motivated to sustain off the wave.
Lee Sin finding a good opportunity to connect the Q there will force Rek'Sai to use some of that Fury to heal up. If he interested to see if the Rek'Sai built a tunnel network just all the way back to her heels, so that Lee Sin couldn't all in her while she's on his side of the map. Because these tunnels will effectively, if not literally, last the length of this entire game. They will not time out, just because they last, I think, 10 minutes apiece. Good trade coming in here for Lee Sin.
Okay,
another Ignite going down from Rek'Sai, though. Lee Sin will manage to escape with the Summoner Spell advantage, if a small HP disadvantage. I wonder if, also, you just, if you're not expecting to get back to full HP, if you just instantly use Barrier the moment you know you're going to start taking a lot of damage just as a heal.
Yeah, you can also wait until the Rek'Sai ultimate.
I feel like if Rek'Sai ultimates you and you're not dead to it, you just kick them under turret though, right?
Yeah.
Since it puts her behind you.
Definitely.
This would be interesting. Like, I think if both players are playing optimally, it's gonna go until CS, but...
Oh, Barrier?
Oh, the kick! Go for the kick! Woo!
That's it. Let's go. We can't all in the Barrier, Lee Sin.
And that's exactly that, swapping this matchup on its head there. Rek'Sai goes for the all-in under turret, forgets Barrier is still available, and does end up dying in the end. 1-1 going into the last game.
All of these games have been a pretty fair brawl. I'm sad we missed the ultimate action of the first one, but I'm excited to see what happens in this final match.
Absolutely. Now, all right, so we've seen two very different games, right? We've seen the Rek'Sai versus Lee Sin bruiser off. We've seen the Ezreal versus Nico farm boredom palooza. Whoever gets bored first loses. Uh, what do you think about this next game coming up? What do you think we're going to see?
Pantheon,
Pantheon's been banned every game. You think that's going to change?
no. I just want it to happen.
I just want it to happen. We will see the same bans come out on both sides. So
No!
we will see the Pantheon does end up being banned.
Casters are ready.
Alrighty. I do think the bans are intelligent, though, coming out on both sides. We see the Vayne, I believe, Draven, and Callista coming out as bans against Squirrel Sensei, all very oppressive range champions. And then the Pantheon, of course, that we saw earlier, Cage Reaper, play to a lot of success. So do we see two more completely different picks coming into this game? Or are we going to go back to some form of comfort? That is the question.
1 second.
What's it going to be? Real question here. Have we had more pick ban / spectator delay, or have we had more gameplay? Where's the balance fall? You see Zed and Fizz being hovered, looking at a very all-in matchup if these two champions get locked in. Cage Reaper already is pulling out the Fizz today. We know they're totally capable of doing it. Squirrel Sensei looking to diverge a little bit from their past games and pick the Zed, perhaps.
Fizz Zed. What a final.
Oh, we will see Annie versus Zed for the final game of the CEAL 12 Days of Riftmas 1v1 tournament between Caged Reaper and Squirrel Sensei.
Gosh.
How does this matchup play out? I think it's very.
Zed has to dodge the stun.
I don't think that's possible, sir. I don't think that's very reasonable to expect when two of the stuns are instant.
Zed should go Hex Drinker and 4 pots.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely. I think Hex Drinker is a good place to start. Annie E gives a shield now and not armor MR, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that is a lot better for the Zed. If it still gave armor MR, I think it'd be even worse for him. The shield's probably going to be a little bit less effective HP. Issue is I think Tibbers can solo Zed. Like, not even hitting him with the ulti. I just think the bear will punch Zed to death.
Yeah, it's a little hard.
And Annie hopefully picks up an item with some stats on it. I honestly, like, you might
900
say
Seekers. Yeah.
I don't want to see Seekers. I think that's
I think
like
it's the best item in the game right now. As far as efficiency, it's so good.
once you
think-
get it stacked for sure, but we haven't
Yeah.
seen these games go past 20 CS, right?
But it's Zed. Like, he has to wait until 6, which is at least 3 waves. And if she's farming well, I think it. Double check me, but I'm pretty sure once you fully stack, maybe it changed, maybe they nerfed it this patch, but at least 1024, when you fully stack the Seekers, it went from 900 to almost 800 gold efficiency. I'm sorry, 1800. I misspoke there. Actually, an insane item. Doubles the value.
Yeah.
You get so much armor.
Yeah, I think it's what? It's 15 base plus 30. I don't remember what the new base is,
Just
but it
an
is plus
ungodly
30.
amount.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. from the Zed side too, like I definitely think you want to go for one of the Guardian items instead of like a Dirk, and
Hex
I think,
Drinker.
or yeah, Hex Drinker as we mentioned earlier. I forgot we said that. Um, it's gonna be rough coming from the Zed side, but we said that about Lee Sin versus Rek'Sai as well, and the Lee Sin did manage to clutch it out in the end.
Hmm.
So anything can happen. Zed could just randomly one-shot Annie because she doesn't have armor runes. That's totally possible
Yeah,
because she didn't know she was against Zed.
yeah.
What
Where's the
runes would you go?
grasp Anivia? For Annie, it's usually Electrocute. For Zed, it's probably the same. Um,
So, hear me out on this. If I had known this was the matchup, I would go Grasp Annie.
yeah, you can get away with that. Bone plating is certainly
Yeah,
useful.
just going for bone plating. I guess you end up with. Actually, you can go Shield Bash now.
Oh, that's cool.
That is interesting. I didn't directly think about that, but yeah, you can go Shield Bash, and that's actually super
Wow.
useful because it gives you
So,
armor MR while you're
yeah, do I just play Annie top now, or what's that about?
shielded. Yeah. Zed does not have Flash going in with the Exhaust and Ignite. Exhaust
Oh,
doesn't
wow.
increase damage taken anymore. That's like season 4 stuff, right?
No,
No, it
it's
doesn't.
damage reduction and movement speed.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for some reason I always start behind
Yeah,
29.
he's
Welcome to the howling abyss.
Sure.
all right. Starting items, we will see Hex Drinker 2 pot on Zed.
Very nice. And a horn.
Horn,
Mhm.
and he does not want to die.
Yeah, maybe she didn't take armor and runes, so she's like, I need
We
the
can
survivability.
check. Annie has armor in her runes, so she has +6 armor. Not
Oh, wow.
ideal. Like obviously, you'd probably want to go for +12 armor in a matchup like this, but +6 armor, totally fine. 15 AP. She also has attack speed in her runes, which is to be expected for something like this. And
Oh,
yeah, I
wow.
think actually that has to go in here.
Oh, wow. The exhaust to block the W. The stun is going to connect, but at what cost? No sums on either party. Zed comes out pretty far ahead in the early level 3 trade.
Doesn't even have Hex Drinker proc either there, which is going to be huge. Zed's going to have to go for the all-in pre-6, which is, I think, the best way he's going to go about this. Or
Yeah.
he has to hit 6 first and pop it off on that. But he's pushing the wave in right now, which means the wave should rebound before either of them have a chance to hit 6. Zed probably looking to go in here. Heals will come down.
Doesn't want to overcommit under tower. Smart.
But no one has fed the Boro yet. A disastrous misplay. Zed really far ahead on HP right now, still waiting for the back half of the map, the second HP spawn for this Annie.
Yeah, too bad he's not 6 on this wave. That would have been 2 choice. Huge wave. Try to dive before she pops Tibbers.
Yeah, and as Zed does hit 6 off of this, and Annie does just hit 6 now, so she does use her
Just
stun
spin her
though.
stun.
I really feel like she's gonna have to hold stun for the rest of the game. At least until she gets more HP up.
Oh boy.
And this is what I was talking about. The wave's pushing in. Just sit in the bush. You don't have to last hit. Like, the CS doesn't matter. Gold doesn't matter. You're getting EXP. This entire wave's going to push in. You can zone Annie off of EXP. And so long as the minion damage you take doesn't make the difference in the kill, it's totally fine. We do see now, though, Annie with the 1 level advantage. And Zed shouldn't actually be able to make that up until the wave crashes.
Shurikens go wide.
No more healing for Zed either. Has ate through both of his pots that he started the game with. So if the next trade doesn't go into an all-in...
Annie Tibbers coming out. Ignite to follow. Tibbers just going to run him down under tower, trying to eke as much damage as possible.
This is Zed just being run under tier 2 by Tibbers fun.
Hex Drinker has yet to be used, which is he was pretty low.
Yeah, he was definitely below the mark there. I'm surprised Tibbers didn't proc it. Is Tibbers doing 80 damage now or something? Nope.
No, not that
Uh,
I'm aware of.
that's interesting. Maybe it's a visual bug for spectators here or something. It's
I was
definitely
looking at the items too. Like
yeah.
it's not bleeped out. Oh,
See the ult coming in here. Zed going in for the
shuriken.
all in. Might be able to pick it up in time.
Oh my god!
Oh, the ignite
The
does get
triple
the kill.
shuriken, just enough. Very good patience with the placement of the shadows. Wow.
And that is that's the end of that. Squirrel Sensei will take the 1 versus 1 12 Days of Riftmas CEAL Championship. I don't know
Super
what he
fun to watch.
won reward wise, but it's something.
Honor and
Honor,
prestige.
bragging rights, and maybe actual financial or monetary compensation. I don't know.
Either way, thank you to all who played, especially those tonight. Super fun to watch y'all go head to head.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Thanks to everyone part of the SEAL community as well. Everyone who participates in this event, everyone who's participating in the other Riftmas events. I'm pretty sure we're gonna have a cast for the Legends of Runeterra semifinals and finals tomorrow at 9 p.m. EST. Not confirmed that we'll have casters for it, but I'm thinking that we will. I don't know if there's any other events currently scheduled or on the docket that I can shout out.
Today is the 12th, so it's the final day, but I'll look to do some in-houses before maybe one a week or something like that moving forward. We always have a good time playing either theme day rams, or last week we actually got to play, or last time, excuse me, we actually got to play some 5v5, which is always fun. So still
Yeah,
keep your ear to the
absolutely.
ground on the announcement page.
Yep, if you're a part of the community. If you're not a part of the community, how
What are
can
you
they become a
doing?
part of the community?
Go to Casual EAL, Casual Esports Amateur League.com. Sign up. It's free if you just want to play our training rounds where lower ELO folks come together to help each other learn, coaches and anything else. We do VOD reviews and psychological mindset reorientations. It's not as extreme as it seems. It's just, hey, how do I be less of a jerk in a team setting? Pretty fun stuff. If you do pop the $10, it's just so we can serve y'all better in this community. You will put you on a team, and then we do round robin tournaments until we seed for playoffs. We are looking at 5 divisions this year. Don't quote me on that, but we seed based on preference of player and skill. We have a fantastic time. Seasons are about 6 to 8 weeks, something in that, and we're starting. Signups end the 1st of this year, so go ahead and hit us up for the rest of this month, and we'll put you on the team.
Awesome. And can we get a link to the Discord in the chat, maybe? I don't know if we're able
Link
to
to
do
the
that.
Discord.
A link to the Discord and like the Twitch chat.
Shadow, what's the verdict?
I have no idea. All right, that'll be coming in just a second if there's anyone here who wants to check this out, or if there's anyone watching these VODs in the future and wants a link to the Discord and there's no one there to answer it, you'll be able to find it there, or you'll be able to find it down below in the description below the stream. Uh, awesome. Is there anything else that we should say, or should we just wrap it up?
I think that's just about it. Appreciate y'all and had a fun time watching some silly games with you.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone. Have a great night.
All right, bye.